Hi, folks. I got a really good question in the other day, and that is, how do you handle a situation where you have a highly emotional employee in a situation where you're having a difficult discussion or where there's a conflict in the workplace? And I see a lot of that end up on my desk in mediation, where you've got two people whose communication styles are very different, and one person's inability to allow the other person to be themselves ends up creating a problem down the road and resulting in a discrimination or a harassment claim of some kind. So I'm going to give you a few tips today about how to deal with a highly emotional person in a conflict situation. And then we'll talk about how to deal with a highly rational person in another episode. So when you've got somebody who has a high level of emotion, they're going to need to express that emotion before they can move on to having a more productive conversation. So they may need to cry, they may need to yell, they may need to just sort of go take a walk and calm down and figure out how to manage their emotions before they can engage in the discussion. And it's really important that you allow them the time and the space and to do so, and to not make them feel badly about having the emotions. They have to process those emotions before they can move forward with the discussion. So if they need a tissue, get them a tissue. If they need to take a walk, tell them, hey, if you want to go take a walk, that's perfectly fine. If they need to rant and rave for a little bit, let them rant and rave. And it's really hard to sit there and watch someone cry, or to, let somebody let loose if they need to express themselves using words. That can be really difficult to do, but it's very important, if you want to have a productive discussion, that you in fact let them do so. Once the person has had an opportunity to express their emotions without you saying, calm down, or, that's enough, or I don't want to hear this, or things like that. Once they've had that chance to calm themselves down, then perhaps asking some questions about what they think the best next steps are, or what they'd like to see happen, or things like that, can be really great ways to get into a discussion with them that's more productive. It allows you to get a little bit of insight as to what they're thinking and feeling. And it, as long as you're asking open-ended questions, doesn't make you tied down to any resolution. It just simply opens the floor for some discussion. If you're in a more difficult circumstance, like a performance improvement plan discussion or something like that, you may not be able to ask them what they want to have happen, but instead you might be able to ask them things like, well, if we need to have this kind of change, how do you see that best happening? That can be a really good tool when you're in a performance improvement discussion, to allow the person to feel like they have some agency over a situation where they really don't have a whole lot of control. So those two things are really my secret sauce for minimizing the level of conflict in those discussions. Allow the motion to be expressed, and ask for input from the employee. And those two things can really dial down the level of conflict in difficult discussions. Thank you very much for listening. Keep the suggestions coming, please. And I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thank you.